Erev Tov, Rabbi. Interesting question comes up. When a person gets married, and let's say, right, he lives in one place, and the Kala lives in a different place. So the question is, where are they supposed to live? In her place, his place. What does the halacha say about this? This is the question. It's a very important question. Sometimes it becomes like argument about this. No, I want to go to my place. No, I want to go to my place. I want to live over here. I want to live over there. So it says the Shulchan Aruch in Ibn Ezer that when there's the Chatan and Kala living in two different places, the Kala has to go where the Chatan lives. This is the halakha. That's the way it is. Because there are reasons for this. I mean, you can understand a little bit. Because usually, the Chatan over there where he lives, he has his parnasa over there. He has his career. He's learning Torah in the yeshiva, whatever it is. Learning in kollel, whatever it is. So that's the most important thing for the family. The Torah, the parnasa. So since he's doing all these things, in his place, so the woman cannot tell him, listen, I miss my friends over there, in my place, my friends, all my best friends were there, and my mommy and daddy, mama and papa were there. I miss them. Oh, I can't live without them. So I want you to come, and live in my place, where I grew up, So what do you think? What, your friends and your father and mother are more important than your husband? No, you came to marry your husband. You have to go where he is. You're joining his life now. Becoming a part of his life. This is the way it is. So that's the way it is. So if they didn't say nothing, let's say, right, they didn't talk about this before they got married. So the rule is, that she has to go where he lives, because this is the way of the world. And so the people sometimes they argue about this. It happens. Oh no, my place. But the truth is, that let's say this woman, let's say before they got married, she told him, she says, I'm marrying you, but only if we live in my place. She told him like this, let's say, right? So what happens over there? So if he agrees to it, he has to keep the word. That's something else, He shouldn't have done that really, maybe, to agree to it. But let's say he had a good reason. Maybe he had a good reason, whatever, right? There's some good things for him over there. So if he agreed to it before the marriage, he has to go. He has to keep his word. That's something else. We're not talking about that, right? So that's the rule. Now, what about if they live in the same place, same country, whatever, right? Same area. So there, the rule is, that obviously they're going to live right in that area where they both live. And he cannot tell her, what, I want to take you now to a different country, live over there. So this, right, the halakha says you cannot do. Because she wasn't expecting this, You both live in America, let's say, right, you live in New York, whatever it is, right? And now she tells you, listen, I want to go live in Paris. What Paris? Where we live in America. You want to take me to Paris now? You cannot do that, right? Unless, again, right, same thing. If you told her in the beginning and she agreed to it, that's something else. We're not talking about that, right? But if she didn't agree to it.
Aliyah?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we have to get to that. Yeah, we have to talk about that. That's very important, right? So the rule is, that if they both lived in the same country, he cannot take her now to a different country. Unless she agrees to it. If she agrees, she agrees. It's okay, Sometimes she'll agree. Why? Because, he'll tell her, listen, I'm going to make more money over there. Have a parnasa there, good business, whatever, right? Whatever, good job. Yeah, okay, so he'll tell her, like this, and she'll say, okay, let's go. Okay, that's fine, But if she doesn't agree with it, she wasn't expecting to live in Europe, You married her in America. What business does she have in Europe? It's something else, right? This you cannot do. This is something that which is a different situation altogether. Okay, that's another thing, right? We have to understand. Also, let's say, for instance, but it says in the Shulchan Aruch like this, right? That let's say they live in one country, they both live in America, but now he wants to take her. They were living before, let's say, in New Jersey, whatever, and now he wants to take her to New York. So this is possible to do. It's because it's the same country. He can say, what? We're going to New York now. I have a job over there. I have a job offer. I have a, yeshiva, right, that I'm going to learn over there, some kollel, whatever it is, right, whatever he does, doesn't matter, So this he can do. But it says in the halakha like this, right, if he wants to take her from one place to another in the same country, he has to take her to a similar place, something which is the same, What does that mean? If they lived in a nice place, nice city, so he shouldn't take her to a bad city, a bad place, something like that, right? He's not allowed to do. Or take her to a place where, let's say, right, they were living in the city, and now he wants to take her and they should live in the country, in the village, somewhere in the farm. It's not the same thing. You cannot do that because that's not the same kind of lifestyle. Changing from city to farm, to village is not the same thing. So this you cannot do. You cannot tell her to go like that. But if you're taking her to a place which is similar to what it was before, so there you can take her, and then tell her, listen, we're moving to New Jersey, right? Whatever, we're going to Lakewood, we're going to Muncie, whatever, right? It's the same country, so that you're allowed to do. That's something else, right? We're not talking about that. Okay, so now, right, let's get to some more situations that we need to know about. So what about the situation where, the place he wants to go, right? Let's say, over there, the majority is Jewish people, and the minority is Goyim. And the place where they live now, right, it's just the opposite, right? So which is better? So, always the halakha says, you should always take her to a place where there's more Jews over there. So don't take her, if you were living in New York, there's a lot of Jews over here, right? Majority is Jewish in some places. The whole city is not like majority Jewish. But anyway, it's a high percentage of Jews, in New York. So now you want to take her to a place where it's like almost all Goyim, only 1% Jewish there, only 5% Jewish. That's not the same thing. So you're not allowed to take her like that. Because why? Where there's more Jews, there's more Kedusha there, There's more Bet Knesset, there's more synagogues, there's more yeshivot, right? There's more Jewish life there, mikvaot, things like this, You go to a place where there's barely any Jews there, small community. They have one shul, or two, and have one mikveh maybe, right? Maybe, if they have one mikveh, One, and no yeshiva, no bet midrash, no nothing, So you want to take her to a place like that, you're not allowed to do that, right? Same thing with the woman. She cannot ask the husband, to go to a place like this, where there's less Jewish life there, not a lot of Jewish life, So always we want to go to a place where the majority of the people are Jewish there, That's because there's more Kedusha in a place like that. So you cannot take her from a good place to a bad place like this, also spiritually good and spiritually bad. It's the same thing. Another thing, right, as we talked about, as our friend said, is the issue of going to Eretz Israel, right? So what about that? So now, right, if you're talking about going to Eretz Israel, the whole thing changes, right? All these rules are batil. It's not the same thing at all, Why? Because it says in halakha, that if, let's say the husband wants to go to Eretz Israel, he wants to make aliyah, and the wife is like, I want to stay with my mother, I want to stay with my father. We tell her, no, I'm sorry, Eretz Israel, it's more important than everything else. You have to go with your husband to Eretz Israel. If he wants to go there to do the mitzvah to make aliyah, don't say no. If she says no, let's say she refuses, what's the halakha? So you're allowed to divorce her, for this, and she doesn't get ketubah, nothing, right? Because she doesn't want to go to Eretz Israel. Same thing with the husband. Let's say the wife wants to go to Eretz Israel. Husband says, no, I like it over here, I like it in New York, it's exciting over here. Lots of excitement. You like excitement? What are you looking for? What are you looking for over here? He wants to stay in New York, wife wants to go. So she can also, go to Bet Din and tell them, I want to divorce this guy, because I want to go to Eretz Israel. I don't want to stay here. Same thing, and she gets ketubah because it's not her fault, it's his fault. He doesn't want to go, she wants to go. Same thing, So Eretz Israel is very, very, very gadol, very chashuv, Nothing like Eretz Israel. That's the whole thing, So we always want to go up there. Not only that, right, it says in the halakha like this, that let's say you're going to Eretz Israel, let's say over here you live in Lakewood, Muncie, very Jewish, very Haredi, religious people with, big peot and beard, everything. Hasidim, and Rabbanim, right, all kinds of things, And you're going to Eretz Israel, you're going over there to live in a place where there's like, mostly Arabs over there, like Natsat elite, over there, mostly Arabs over there, Ishmaelim. So what's better, to live in Eretz Israel, with most people are going over there, or to live over here in Lakewood, everything Jewish? What's better? So halakha says, better to go to Eretz Israel, even if it's mostly going over there. Even that. Can you imagine? Why? Because the Kedusha of Eretz Israel is so great, that it's more important than anything else. They say the Chazal, that a person lives in Eretz Israel, it's like he's keeping all the mitzvot, Taryag mitzvot, he's considered to be, He has chelek in Olam Haba just because he lives there. That's why he's forgiven for all his sins. They say, right, that they forgive him for every sin if he lives in Eretz Israel. He's forgiven for everything. So the zchut of Eretz Israel is very, very great, So he can take her there, he can tell her, listen, we're going to live in a place where it's mostly Arabs over there. Better to live over there than to live over here, in Lakewood. That's the halakha, It's something unbelievable, right? So Eretz Israel is a very, very powerful thing, And even if it's a bad place, not a good area, like ugly, like there are some places in Tel Aviv, it's like a slum. There's slums over there, Better to live in a slum in Tel Aviv, North Tel Aviv, than to live over here in Monsey. Like that's the way it is, So Eretz Israel, nothing compares to it. So whoever wants to go to Eretz Israel, he's always right. And the other one who doesn't want to go, he's always wrong. No matter what. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן אמן. לפיך נהנה לקדש אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעסוק לישראל, לפיך הכי בא להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר לחפש, למען צדקו יגדיר תורה וידיר.